Hello Virgo, welcome to my channel. It is an absolute blessing and such a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you for joining me for your November 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies, including links to my social media, information on personal readings, and donations if those are options you would like to explore. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so take only what resonates with you and leave the rest. Please do not make it your story and create more healing for yourself if it isn't. November is a universal 9-month, which certainly prepares us for all kinds of endings. The number 9 is also symbolic of sacrifice and service, and we are being called to bring light and joy to those who need it the most. Overall, the month is pretty positive. There are things that are ending and may cause sadness for us, but we are being asked to remember that when one door closes, another opens. So we are going to be looking at the overall energy of the month for you, what you are sacrificing, how you can be of service, and the advice that will best support and serve you moving forward. So Virgo, let's dive in and see what's showing up for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of November 2023 for Virgo, please. Oh, on the floor. Okay. Tell us, please, what is Virgo sacrificing this month? What is Virgo sacrificing this month, please? There, thank you. How can Virgo be of service, please? How can Virgo be of service? Okay. What advice will best support and serve Virgo moving forward, please? What advice will best support and serve Virgo moving forward? I just heard the word listen, so I don't know what that might mean to you, how it may resonate with you individually, but I did hear the word listen. Oh, okay, thank you. For some of you, I feel like that could be to your intuition. It could be asking you to listen to your intuition. For others of you, it may be that there's someone in your life who is trying to communicate something to you, and you're being asked to listen there. Interestingly, I also feel that there may be someone listening where maybe you've been asking or praying about something, right? You've been asking God or your team or whatever it is about something. And there may be somebody coming in, maybe you know this person, maybe you don't, who is trying to communicate that answer to you. And so there's this message of essentially keeping your mind open or your ears open, because I feel like it may come in unexpectedly. All right, so of course, take what resonates, leave what does not. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of November 2023 for Virgo. More about the overall energy. Thank you. Tell us more, please. What is Virgo sacrificing? Okay. Tell us more, please. How can Virgo be of service? Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please. What advice will best support? Okay. I do appreciate your patience, Virgo. We are working with quite a few decks here, so, well, several decks anyway. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of November 2023 for Virgo? What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of this month for Virgo? Tell us more, please. Ooh, good golly. Let's take all these back. I feel like this one here. Tell us more, please. Okay. And what else do we need to know about the advice? Thank you. All right. Anything else we may have missed or need to know about the overall energy of this month for Virgo? Thank you. Anything else? Ooh, good golly. Anything else we need to know or may have missed? What is going on here? Anything else we need to know or may have missed about what Virgo is sacrificing? Please, what is happening? Okay, we'll take those. Anything else we need to know or may have missed, please, about how you can be of service, Virgo? How can Virgo, thank you. Not that one, not those, okay. And anything else we need to know or may have missed, please, about the advice that will, did one flip over? No, okay. Right there, thank you. All right. Let's dive in, Virgo. So the overall energy of the month for you, you have a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. I feel as though, Virgo, for some of you, there are some big life changes that are taking place. For some of you, I feel like you knew or know that these changes are coming, or you are well aware of what these changes are. For others of you, perhaps not. Perhaps it's happening more in the background. Maybe you aren't seeing the physical manifestation of this, but I do feel like your life is changing. I do feel like there's something here that is trying to bring you to a new beginning or a new place or a new chapter in your experience. And I feel like there's this encouragement to keep moving forward. The energy is saying, you know, certainly there may be things that are coming to an end or coming to a close. And maybe those things, you know, some of those things are not very pleasant, or maybe they bring up a bit of fear in you or something like that. And again, you're being encouraged to keep moving forward, because I feel like there is something new that's waiting on the other side of this. Some of these big changes, for those of you that resonate with this, I do feel like these would be things that would change your life tremendously, right? Again, you may be aware of what these are. Maybe you are changing careers. Maybe your family situation has changed. Maybe you are changing your residence, you know, something like this. I feel like there's this energy, like, so I'm hearing the song, A Whole New World from Aladdin. So that may be something you resonate with, but I just feel like things are really changing in a way that is going to be significant in your experience. Okay. And I do feel like you're being encouraged to welcome those changes. You also have, ooh, the Lovers. That's interesting. So for some of you, this could be a new person. And it's interesting because I did say, you know, that there was an energy of perhaps, you know, someone bringing in a message for you. This could have something to do with this. Perhaps you meet someone new. However, I feel more significantly, though some of you may resonate with what I was just sharing, that some of these things that are changing are meant to be moving you more in a direction of love, love for self, love for others, love in general. I'm actually getting the words like the beauty of love. So I feel as though this may not be specific to relationships, right? This could be loving life. This could be loving yourself. This could be loving your family situation, right? It doesn't have to be relationship based for one of those relationships, let's say, outside of yourself. I do feel like whatever you're going through this month, Virgo, the overall energy is speaking to creating more union in your experience. And what I mean by that is things feeling more harmonious, things feeling, again, like a new earth, right? Like this is a new experience. This is a place where I haven't really experienced something like this before. This is something fairly new to me. And it may be that it feels new to you because perhaps you are not somebody who has felt unified within. Maybe you were unable to love yourself previously. Certainly there are choices that I feel are coming up, which makes sense based on the big changes that I feel. But it really does feel that making choices that are in alignment with your personal beliefs, with union, with harmony, with balance, with your values, I feel like these things are going to be important. And I feel like you're being guided to make those decisions in such a way. I also feel like there's something here perhaps about communication. The Lovers is a representation in the tarot of Gemini energy. So you may be dealing with a Gemini, but I feel more specifically that again, that communication energy is coming in, right? I got the word listen. And so you may be getting certain nudges or, synchronicities or signs or things like this that are trying to point you in a specific direction. So the universe may be communicating with you, or someone else may be communicating to you on behalf of the universe, or there could be someone who's genuinely just trying to have an open line of communication that's based in love with you. And I feel like I need to say, even if those are things you do not want to hear, does not mean that they're not coming from a place of love. I don't know who that's for or why, but that's coming through nonetheless. Yeah, I really feel like whatever's taking place for you with this energy, I do feel like it's more about bringing, like I said, more harmony and peace and balance into your experience, and really kind of sinking into, in some ways, the beauty of life and the love for life. But I do feel like this is not something that can be accomplished if you have this disharmony within, right? So again, I would encourage you, even if you're not seeing things physically changing, or if it's not tangible, but you can feel changes within you, right? That's a good sign, like it's happening. Keep going, right? Look at this. Come on, get out of here. You have here creating heaven on earth. It's happening, like I said, right? It really is this feeling of things are changing. It is also, for me, heaven is not somewhere outside of yourself. It is not in the sky. It is not somewhere outside of you. You have the kingdom of heaven within you. I'm a firm believer in that. And so there is this union energy, as I was saying, with the Lovers that's coming in, where I feel like these choices that you are making, or the changes that are coming into your life, are meant to be creating more of that unified energy within you, creating more heaven within, which you then experience outside of yourself. Now, I do feel called to just remind you or share with you that energy moves very fast, but we are in a very dense plane, okay? So things move much slower in a more physical sense, okay? So again, it is this energy of things are happening, right? But you've got to keep holding that, and moving toward it and striving toward it and taking action as you feel called to do so. But I really feel that this is so beautiful, because I feel like there's something that is changing or has changed within you, where you are finding more peace, you're finding more balance, you maybe are accepting yourself or loving yourself, or moving more into a space where you feel more comfortable in your own skin, right? I love this. It's such a beautiful energy. You also have Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Yeah, so, I mean, again, things are being orchestrated, okay? That is certainly coming through very strongly. Things are being moved around. You're being moved around. Things are happening in order to create something better, in order to lay foundations for a new way of being, a new earth, to bring forward, again, more of that harmony and balance in your experience. And with seeding the light, I feel as though there's this call to keep moving in that direction, right? Keep moving in and making choices that are in alignment with your beliefs, your values, what you feel is important to you, the things that you love, that bring you happiness, that create harmony or peace for you. It feels, it's quite beautiful, Virgo, because it does feel, for some of you, like this is not something that you're used to. The sense of like harmony, at least within, right? I'm not saying that your external experience is perfect, or all butterflies and rainbows, but I do feel like you're headed in a direction where your internal world isn't as affected by the external experience, right? So whatever's going on in the world doesn't seem to be having such a hold over you, or doesn't seem to be, you know, making you feel some type of way about life the way that it may have in the past. You also have Going On, a song by Ella Irie. Anyone that needs what they want and doesn't want what they need, I want nothing to do with. And to do what I want and to do what I please, it's messed up not to do this. But every once in a while, I think our bodies can smile. Yeah, that's absolutely the energy I was picking up on. You know, so again, this energy here of anyone that needs what they want and doesn't want what they need, I want nothing to do with. And, you know, in other words, anyone that's going against their truth, anyone who is, you know, wearing a mask and pretending and you know, moving through life in a very kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? It almost feels like excessive or selfish or something along those lines. I feel like there's this energy of like, look, that's not in alignment with me. I'm trying to appreciate life for like as it is, right? I hope that makes sense, because it feels like this, which is, let me just be honest, is a little bit difficult to do because we do live in a very materialistic world, and there certainly is no shortage, pardon me, of people who are just, you know, accumulating things. And so I feel like there's an energy of moving away from that, because I feel like you maybe now are in a place where you understand that that's not what brings happiness. That's not what brings fulfillment. To go even further, we have, you know, and to do what I want and to do what I please, it's messed up not to do this. But every once in a while, I think our bodies can smile, you know, and I feel like this is very much in alignment with what I was sharing about that harmony within, right? That peace, that union, that love within self, feeling comfortable, safe, secure in one's own skin. And I feel like this is, again, this is the overall energy or the potential that is being offered through the overall energy of this month for you. Finding yourself in a place where you may be even cutting ties or you know, stepping onto a new path or something like that, where you're not giving your energy to things that bring things that you don't need. Okay, so I love this for you, Virgo. It's very positive. What are you sacrificing this month, Virgo? And I do just want to kind of preface by saying, oftentimes we look at sacrifice as, you know, grand acts, though a lot of times they're not necessarily grand acts. They are things that we face, you know, fear, for example, right? We can sacrifice fear and find courage and move forward. Or we can sacrifice wounding, trauma, programming, these sorts of things. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be this grand act of sacrifice. So we do have here called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. It feels to me, okay, so this is quite interesting because I feel, Virgo, you know, there's this very kind of practical aspect to you. And I feel as though some of you may resonate with being called to kind of sacrifice that practicality of things, right? For example, you know, I was talking about up here where you may be kind of turning your face away from, if you will, people who just are acquiring stuff just to have stuff, right? Or people who are very materialistic, or, you know, do things and say things and engage in things that they don't need to be doing. And I feel as though that may not make a lot of sense in some ways. Okay, especially if we look at things from a very materialistic, practical sense. Okay, so you know, one way of looking at this is like, oh, well, why would I do X if it's not going to bring me stability, for example? And I feel as though this is part of what you're sacrificing, because I do feel like some of the things that you may be called to do, where you may be facing certain fears and kind of really stepping up in a way that feels very different, that I feel is, it feels like you're sacrificing again, kind of what feels practical, or what makes sense, or, you know, what some may deem not, smart, right? Like, I feel as though there could be some who would look at you maybe as a bit foolish or something. But I feel like this is what you're sacrificing, is that comfort. Okay? That feeling more stable, more secure. Maybe some of these changes that are coming in create a little bit of instability. You know, maybe some of you feel, like I said, feel called to change jobs or locations or things like this. And to some, that may not make any sense, right? But I feel as though, again, this is what you're sacrificing, that more kind of stable, practical way of moving, and instead are being guided to align with things that feel better for you, that feel more harmonious for you, that feel as though they bring more balance into your experience. Really, really interesting. And for some of you, this could have something to do with, you know, those gifts and that training, if you will, that you have within you. They may be, you know, it's like, oh, I'm following my intuition. Well, that doesn't make sense. Or, you know, some people may feel that way. Oh, you also have the Eight of Wands. So here's what's really interesting, right? Okay, how do I word this? The Eight of Wands in the reverse is this kind of pause or slower moving energy, right? And I feel as though, which I already can feel some of you cringing. I feel as though part of what you're sacrificing is a little bit of that control, and that need to be more patient, right? A lot of the experience I've had with Virgos is very much that kind of like go-getter, always kind of moving and working and, you know, getting things done and this, that, and the other, and essentially producing results. Okay, let's just put it that way. And I feel like this is something that you may be kind of sacrificing this month. It feels as though there's this energy of a more slow, a more patient surrender, if you will, right? Because you have it's happening twice. And I felt called to share, you know, just because something doesn't seem to be tangibly manifesting before you doesn't mean that things aren't happening. I'm getting some fear come up as well. So again, I feel as though, you know, for some of you, you are sacrificing and facing perhaps the fear of that more how do I say? Yeah, I feel like some of you are facing that fear of that more slower moving energy, not getting results right away, sacrificing the control, right? Because again, you guys, like I'm actually seeing this in my mind as like somebody like wanting to get things done, trying to really rush through things and produce some kind of product or result, right? Something physical that you can hold. And I feel as though this is one of those energies where it's like, you may not be seeing this right away. You're being asked to have patience, to sit down, to let things unfold, to not have to go get and to chase and, you know, always be moving type of thing. Again, take it as it resonates. Wow, you guys, the parroting here is wild for you guys, because you have answer the call to clarify. So you have called, right? And you have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? And again, I feel as though, you know, that does come with sacrifices, certainly. When your soul calls you to do certain things, a lot of times, you know, it doesn't make sense. We can, you know, there are many times that we can see one step ahead and that's it. And, you know, and following that from a practical standpoint or a logical standpoint or a secure and safe standpoint does not make any sense at all. So, you know, again, I feel like this is what you're sacrificing, which I feel, like I said, I could feel some of y'all like cringe, because I feel like this is it's something very difficult to face, right? But if you have read any part of the Bible, and certainly this is not coming from a religious perspective, but if you've read anything in the Bible, right, a lot of the things that individuals are called by God to do require them sacrificing certain comforts, right? Sacrificing certain things, and doing things that often don't make any freaking sense. But on the other side of that is greatness, right? On the other side of that is something much better. And so I feel like this is where you are, Virgo, right? Where your soul may be calling you to do things, and it may not be things that are going to immediately produce a result. And I feel like this is a sacrifice for you, because I feel like it's very uncomfortable. Okay. You have as well the song Faith. Yeah, holy biscuits, like I was saying, right? This is by Jordan Felice. Searching for purpose, you know the way then. Praying through so many silent hours. Find a breath when you feel like fainting. Loving the lover you are right now. You just gotta have faith. So, you know, this is an energy of essentially like having things shown to you, and maybe not knowing, I mean, at least what I'm picking up on intuitively, is maybe not knowing how those things are going to come about, but having faith in them, right? Just breathing, praying, doing whatever you feel necessary to bring you some kind of comfort or peace. But I do feel that there is this energy of having the way shown to you, right? Being called, having the way shown to you, and then moving accordingly. You know, not holding your breath through it, though you may feel very anxious or, you know, something like that. And I feel like a big part of this is just loving where you are in the moment, not worrying so much about what is 2 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps, a year ahead of you, but being where you are, moving from that space and having faith that whatever comes your way, whatever manifests for you, it will work out, right? Everything will be okay. Wild. Okay, you also have the song Vibes by Tove Lo featuring Joe Janiak. Dreamer, tripping on your highs. These vibes, I feel it. Dreamer, tripping on your highs, feeling all the vibes. Whisper, pretty little things, heart sings, I feel it. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I really do feel like some of you could face this, even if it's not something external, right? Even if it's not parties outside of yourself, but you could certainly be facing this conflict where the things that you may be feeling called to do, or where you may be called to go, again, it may feel like pie in the sky. It may feel like, you know, you're just this dreamer over here. But I feel as though those whispers that ignite your heart, that put you in a position where you're like, oh yeah, this is something I really, really feel I need to be doing. I feel like it's that energy of following those feelings, those callings, those vibes, right? Again, this is probably not going to make sense to some, even maybe to yourself, but it doesn't mean it's wrong, right? It doesn't mean it's wrong. Again, that whisper pretty little things, heart things, like that is really standing out to me, because I feel as though, again, this may be a position that you have not found yourself in previously, or maybe not to this extent or something. And I feel as though you're being very called to follow that. But again, the sacrifice comes in pushing aside your fear, pushing aside, you know, that desire that you have, or the attachment that you have to safety and security and practicality. You have here as well, Right or Wrong by Quabs. Are you running away because someone told you never, that you're always going to tread the wrong road? Are you running away? Again, I know I'm going to sound repetitive, but it is what it is. I'm just the messenger, right? You may have been through experiences where you've been told things are foolish, or you've been taught that certain things are foolish. And so you've never took that route because, again, it didn't make sense. And your programming, your trauma, your wounding, whatever it is, has agreed with you. Okay? Right? So I feel as though, you know, that has caused you previously to run away from those things. Like, I feel like you've sacrificed in some cases, what you've really desired deep within your heart, deep within your soul, what has felt really good to you, out of that fear. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I choose wrong? That doesn't seem practical. That doesn't make sense. It's not logical, right? And so, again, there is this energy of really bringing your attention to what your soul and your heart is truly calling to you. And that's not to say that you should run into things all willy-nilly, right? I certainly am somebody who feels very guided by intuition, but as a Capricorn rising, right, also an earth sign that looks at things quite as practical, sometimes we have to face our fear of it not making sense and step forward into it, trusting and having faith in ourselves and in God, source, universe, whatever you call it, right? So that we can emerge on the other side of that in a place that brings us joy and happiness and peace and harmony and balance. Of course, that's not to say that things are going to be butterflies and rainbows all the time, because without challenge, we don't grow, we don't evolve. But, it is all meant to bring us to a place where we can better ourselves, right? Whew. So let's see, how can you be of service? Interesting. You have Higher here, longing for home, homesick for the stars. So yeah, here's the thing. I feel like with this energy of how can you be of service in this card, it feels to me that this has been a very repetitive message. Okay. I've done, so I think this is like my 6th video, maybe. 6 Tarotscope, and I think every single one of them has had a similar type of energy in this position, and I freaking love it. Home is within you. Okay, home is not a place, a building. It is not another person. It is not, a location on a map. That's a very physical, material perspective of home. Home is your soul. Okay, home is where you are. Home is you. And there's this energy of longing for home where I feel as though how you can be of service is coming back to that place. Right? Bringing more of that harmony within, right? We had this energy already with creating heaven on earth. It is recognizing home within yourself and moving accordingly, right? That is your safe place. Within you is your safe place. And longing for that, I feel, is because for some of you, there's been this separation between your truth and you. Right? Where maybe you have done things that have been practical and made sense, and, maybe it was for others or whatever the story is. And I feel like how you can be of service is getting back to yourself, which, like I said, has been a very repetitive message thus far. In every single sign, it has come down to, at the root, getting back to who you are. And being of service by being who you are, truthfully. Okay? So I really hope that makes sense. But, it feels as though, again, we've kind of had this very physical or materialistic perspective of home, when in reality, we are not separate from anything. God is within you. The angels are within you. Christ is within you. You are a physical embodiment of all of those things. You're a physical embodiment of the cosmos, right? And that is your home. You have been with you for all of your soul's existence, and, for all of your life. And it's about getting back to that place and finding safety and security and comfort there, finding truth there, and being of service by moving from that place. Because I feel like the overarching message, right, if I look at all of the Tarotscopes thus far, is when you are you at your truest form, whatever that looks like in any given moment, and you are moving from that space of truth and love and honesty and honoring yourself, other people are impacted by that in many different ways. You don't even have to talk to them. You don't even have to, be physically right in front of them for your energy to impact them. They can see you doing your thing, being yourself, and thereby give themselves permission because they feel like it's okay. Not to say that we need permission, right? But it's almost one of those things, if you've ever been in like a group setting, right? And somebody's like, oh, can I have a volunteer? Or they ask a question and everybody's kind of looking around at each other. And then you'll see one person like raise their hand and then, others kind of follow suit. It's the same kind of thing, right? Oh yeah, you have Earth learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. So again, right? It's like I said, your home is here with you, in you. And I feel, again, you can be of service by understanding that concept, right? You are a human body that houses your soul, your home. This is your home. This body is your home, right? Your soul is your home. And this energy of in the world, but not of it, right? How can you be of service? Don't be so attached to the material, physical things. That's how I feel this is coming through, right? It's releasing those attachments to the physical world. It's releasing those attachments to the tangible, okay? Because it's being here, but not of it, like not getting so enmeshed in this dense plane where everything has to make sense. Everything has to have a logical explanation, or everything has to have, like logic behind the decision to do so, or practicality behind the decision to do so. I really feel as though it's, surrendering a bit of that. And again, this is how I feel like you can be of service, is by getting back to the soul aspect of yourself. Okay. And then again, releasing attachments to the physical world and not fearing not fearing that release. Actually, I'm going to read for you from the guidebook for this card specifically. I feel like there could be something here for someone. So just give me a moment to find this. Not that one. Where is it? Here we are. Okay, so again, how can you be of service? The challenge for all souls having a human experience is to be in the world, but not of it. To realize they are souls having a human experience and be fully conscious of it. To have their soul fully embody their body. People's personalities tend to relate to either transcendence or immanence. Those who lean toward transcendence have a longing for the heavens and the metaphysical. They yearn for a personal experience with God and to be lost in the heavens. They're envious of the angels and are more comfortable praying and hanging out in the stars than on earth. Those who tend toward eminence have attached themselves more to earth and their body. They spend more time thinking about things in this physical world rather than connecting with the heavens or their own mystical inner worlds. Being a fully embodied soul having a human experience means finding the balance between transcendence and eminence. Being in the world, but not of it. Most starseeds are drawn toward transcendence. They're more comfortable with the angels and the heavens. Life on earth can be more difficult for them. If this is you, you're being reminded that you chose to be a soul in a body on earth, and you're being called to focus more of your energies in the physical world, to learn how to be human, a soul in a human body, fully present to what life on earth has to offer you. Right? So I feel like the message here, again, is to find that balance. Like, it does feel to me that there has been this leaning, if you will, towards more physical aspects. However, finding balance is, I feel, how you can be of service, right? Really understanding the two, or comprehend, how do I say, allowing yourself to be in both worlds, right? If you will. Okay, so we also have here for you, ooh, the Empress in the reverse. That is quite fascinating. So this, there's a couple of things I'm getting here. One is that the Empress in the reverse tends to have this kind of smothering energy. And I feel as though, there's this attention being drawn to not smothering out the more, how would I say, soul-like things, if you will, right? I feel like, so if you look at this here, right, the world is essentially on top of her from this position, okay? And that's how I'm seeing it. It's as if the world is weighing down on you, right? And so, again, I feel like this is speaking to lifting that up a bit, okay? Being in the world, but not of it, not letting that smother out your light, your truth, your soul, right? Not letting that weigh so heavily on you. Yeah. This is really how I'm picking this up, you guys. Oh, you have mirror. Who or what is triggering you? I feel like, so here's the thing. In order for us to really get to our truth, our true selves, we have to kind of do this dive into our deepest corners, the nooks and the crannies, and really uncover that part of ourselves. And the way that we can do this is by acknowledging the things that make us uncomfortable, by facing our deepest fears, by acknowledging our own darkness, our wounds, our trauma, right? All of these things. And so it feels to me, for some of you, again, and I feel like this is coming up because there is that density to this reading where, I feel some of you have been very much in the physical world and have maybe neglected your soul a bit, maybe neglected your spiritual development. And so it feels to me that there's that need for the deep dive to start to really acknowledge and come face to face with those things that make you uncomfortable. I hope that makes sense. Because it's the triggers that help us to evolve our soul, right? It is through those things that we are able to grow and evolve and learn. And how do I say it? Not only that, but once we do these things, we do that internal work, right? We address this aspect of ourselves. It starts to, now, not all at once, because again, we're in a very dense space and things move very slowly. But over time, the world will start to reflect that back to you. That, that wholeness, that truth, right? Over time, it will start to mirror that back to us. So, it's not solely, funny choice of words. It's not only about doing the soul work so that you feel some kind of way within yourself, right? That also is reflected back to you by the world. Oh, you have no. You have no. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. I really feel like this comes back to what we were talking about up here, right? Where it's anyone that needs what they want and doesn't want what they need, I want nothing to do with. And I feel like, and to do what I want and to do what I please, it's messed up not to do this. So I really feel like you can be of service by creating boundaries. There may be some people who are like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. And, that's not to say you don't care about these people, you don't love them, you don't want to, it's not that you don't necessarily want to spend time with them, but it may just be that there are certain boundaries that need to be created because things are being orchestrated for you. And, while these things are being moved around, you know, God will say sometimes, I want you here and I want everyone else over here. Right? And the only way to keep that way is for you to say, nope, I don't want to do that thing. You know, I'm focusing more on whatever. Or, you know, if somebody's trying to kind of smother your light, guilt you into moving a certain way, acting a certain way, doing things a certain way, you know, it's saying no, having those boundaries. You know, I'm not going to take that on as my own belief. It's quite fascinating. Again, you know, it is that slower moving energy. I mean, because the Eight of Wands in the reverse here, right, is that pause. It's that slowing down. And this is, it's parroting that. So, I mean, I really feel like November is a time for, you know, you to be getting back to what it is you want it, and really, as cringy as it's going to be, is slowing down, letting things unfold, waiting, because pieces, you know, divine plan is trying to arrange things. And if you're trying to rush ahead and you're trying to make things happen and you're chasing things and, you know, you're adamant about doing it yourself, you don't give divine, you don't give God, the angels, room to work, to orchestrate things for you that may be much better than what you yourself have imagined. I think I said this in another reading, or another Tarotscope for this month, but there's the picture, and you may have seen this floating around socials, where Jesus is bent down to this child who has this little teddy bear in its hands, right? And Jesus is holding his hand out, and behind his back is this giant teddy bear. Giant, like it's almost the same size as the kid. And what Jesus is saying is, like, you know, is asking for the child to have faith and give him that small bear, and for a moment for her hands to be empty. Right? Because behind his back is something better than she could have ever thought was hers to hold. And this is what this is reminding me of. You have here as well, break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Right? I was saying that these ideas, you know, this very practical approach to life may be something that was passed down to you. Now, certainly, Virgo, it is a little bit part of your nature as an earth sign to be a bit more practical and secure and to create, you know, security for yourself. And I'm not saying that's bad, but we can't grow if we're just comfortable, right? I also feel, you know, this is speaking incredibly to who or what is triggering you and the healing that is needed to be done. Because I do feel like with rewriting the future, you know, it's happening, create heaven on earth. You know, and this laying foundations and things, I feel as though this is about experiencing something different. And I've said as much several times during this reading. So, you know, I feel you can be of service by not doing things the way that they've always been done. I'm actually being reminded as well of the Hierophant card in the tarot, which is very much about, like, repeating the same things, doing things according to tradition or society or our religion or whatever the case may be, right? Because I feel like the same ways of doing things do not work anymore. Based on where we are in our soul development, okay, as a collective, those same things, the ways of doing things the same, are not working. And you can see this mirrored out into reality in a lot of different ways. Okay? So I feel like you can be of service by leaving the past where it is and doing things according to your own terms, to what you feel is true for you, to your heart, to your soul. You know, again, we have personal beliefs and values up here, which is, like I said, doing things the way that you feel they should be done. From a soul level, not from what you've been taught, right? You have the song here, Satellite by Starseed. Far across the emptiness, I walk the night and search the silence in the dark you left behind. I seek the stars above the world to be the guides, but they all pale against the light in your eyes. So again, I know I'm going to sound repetitive. You guys are like, gosh, probably, right? But how can you be of service? Don't be afraid of being in the darkness. Don't be afraid of being without, of not knowing, of surrendering. And it's interesting because how this is coming through for me, right? So it says here, they all pale against the light in your eyes, because I feel that there's light, Virgo, that you are holding within you that you have not yet tapped into. And I feel like in order to get to it, you have to be willing to go through the darkness. You have to be willing to, have empty hands, to sacrifice comfort and security. Again, I am not telling you to go through life all willy-nilly. That's not what I'm saying. But to trust and have faith in your intuition and God, source, universe, whatever you call it. Okay. And I feel like this is how you can be of service, is by venturing into unknown territory where you are uncomfortable and seeking your light, because this is about getting home to you, to your truth. Friggin' wild. These readings this month have blown me away. Wow. You guys, come on. You have Light My Way by Oracle Sound System. If you come to a fork in the road, then take it. No one's getting handouts. This life's what you make it. Don't know what's down the road less traveled till you take it. And if you get the chance, don't waste it. So, I mean, I know, you guys, I know. It's repetitive AF, but I really feel like this message is trying to be driven home, right? This is one of those things where it's like, do you need a sign your sign? Do you need more confirmation? Because it is really, quite frankly, saying, don't do things the way that they've always been done. Do it differently. You won't know what's there until you do it. And, life is not about the destination. It's about the journey, right? It's not about the accolades or the rewards or the stuff that you accumulate. It's about what you experience as you do those things. Right? I love this for you. I mean, to me, it's like a grand adventure is waiting. Oh, what is that movie? Up, right? Adventure awaits. I think that's the right movie. That is how this is coming through. Maybe that movie means something important for someone. Okay, so the advice that will best support and serve you moving forward, you have Star Family. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. Yeah, I really feel as though, again, I feel like for some of you, this is really trying to shake awake, if you will, within you, the fact that you are a soul and you are not separate from. And I do feel like there's a fear there because, again, it's like walking that road less traveled, walking in the darkness, not really knowing what's coming. That can be very scary. And even if you have, let's say, physical support from other people, sometimes that fear can be quite overwhelming within, and we can feel like we're experiencing that fear on our own. Because truly, though we have the capacity to be very empathetic, truly no one can really understand things from your unique perspective, because everything that you've experienced in your life has altered that perspective for you, right? It all plays into one another. So even though you may be experiencing something very similar in a way that someone else has, their experiences have also put them in a unique position with their perspective, because it all folds into another. And, you know, so I feel as though the advice here is, hey, you're not doing this on your own. You know, you don't have to move through this on your own. You have a guardian angel, or, you know, probably more than one, but you have at least one guardian angel that is supporting you every step of the way. You have God, or, you know, whatever it is you choose to believe in. I call it God. You have, you know, the angels. You have all of this support, your ancestors, all with you to support you. But the thing about those beings, those powers, is they cannot, because we have free will, cannot assist you without you asking for it, without your permission. Right? So I feel as though, for some of you, it's so funny how I'm saying this actually. For some of you, I feel like your guides, your team, your support team has been kind of sitting like this. Like they're just kind of bored, right? Like I feel like they've been waiting for you to, like, please ask us, please give us something to do. Please, like, I feel like they've been, you know, patiently but impatiently waiting for you to give them permission to move on your behalf. For some of you, that's not for everyone, of course, because I did get this energy earlier of, you know, maybe you've been asking a question or something like that. But I just feel like they're on standby, right? They're waiting, but you have to give them permission. You have to kind of meet them halfway, and then, right? And then surrender to it. Right? You can't be asking for help and then I'm going to do it by myself type of thing. Right? That's not to say that you won't be called to take action. Certainly you likely will be. But, you know, waiting for that to come in, waiting for that piece to come in, I feel like, you know, is what's being shared here. But again, like I said, you don't have to do it alone, and you are not alone. And you can call in support. Right? You can ask for help. You have here, ooh, Ace of Cups in the reverse. Look at that heart space. Yeah, so, you know, what I really feel, again, I feel like, okay, so just roll with me here for a second, because I was saying, you can call in support and ask for help. This isn't a blocked energy. This is like your heart closed off, right? And I feel like this is where, it's kind of comical in some sense, or at least amusing, in some ways, because it's like, you know, you've kind of blocked off to that, right? Like, I'll do it on my own. I'll handle it on my own type of thing for some of you. For others of you, I feel like the advice that's coming through here is to open yourself up to new experiences, to new spiritual experiences, to new levels of spirituality or new spiritual paths, right? For some of you, perhaps you've never explored a spiritual path. Perhaps you have not took it upon yourself to learn about spiritual or soul development or evolution. And maybe these are things that you're being asked to do, right? To be more open to those things. Maybe this is advice coming through that's saying, hey, you have been closed off. And the advice that's going to best support and serve you is open up to those things. Open your heart to these things without expecting it to show up in the way that you think is best for you. Because a lot of times we really don't know what's good for us. And there's a song. I can't think of what it is right now. I think it's by Bastille. But it's something along the lines of, like, we don't know what's good for us, and even if we did, we wouldn't do it. Right? So, you know, I feel like that's the advice that's coming through here for you, is to open your heart up, and allow it to be filled with joy and happiness and balance and support and again, something that maybe you have not yet experienced. Ooh, what an interesting card. So you do have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. And I think it's fascinating because the sacrifice or in the sacrifice position, you do have this soul gifts and training. So it's the second time this has come up for you now. And, you know, I feel like there's untapped potential, right? Through maybe, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation. I do. And every experience that you have on this planet, every time you reincarnate, all of the things you learn and gain, all of the levels of consciousness that you reach, you take that with you, right? There's not something that just, you know, sits like it's not like a, you know, it just leaves your consciousness. It just leaves your soul. You carry that. And so again, I feel as though there are things about you, untapped potential that you have yet to tap into, that is available for you or can be made available for you. Should you choose to open yourself up to them, should you choose to allow that, and discover that for yourself. It is really quite fascinating to me, the messages that are coming out for you, because I really feel that you have things within you that are capable of altering the world around you, right? Like really, I feel like there's a light within you that has been hidden. I mean, you have, for crying out loud, look at this. There's a cave here, right? I feel like it's been hidden. And it feels to me like God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, spirit, is really wanting to help you to move forward by encouraging you to pull this out of yourself, to find it, to chip away at, you know, the hard surface that's been hiding it, if you will. And I think that's really powerful. But I love this. I really do love this for you. Okay, so you also have, there have been a lot of Tarotscopes so far that have got this song. So I'm really finding the repetitiveness of it, pardon me, fascinating. But it is the song Murder to the Mind by Tosh Sultana. But I was thinking about how to do this, trying to find myself. I emerge from my foggiest 6 months sober. I don't know where the time has gone. So this is a very interesting thing. For some of you, you may have earthy placements in your chart, maybe a lot of them. But, you know, there's thinking repeated 3 times. And, you know, I feel like for some of us, we can kind of get stuck in, again, what's logical, what makes sense. And I feel like not everything is meant to be experienced that way. Certainly there are things that are, but not everything is. And I feel as though, how do I say this? It's almost like the more you try to make it that way, the more confusing it's going to seem, the less it's going to make sense. And it feels like there's an opportunity here for you to, again, find yourself and emerge from this haze to see truth. And to be quite honest, when you start diving deep and you start really connecting with your soul and the truths of yourself and the world, it really is like waking up from sleep. It really is something that you can't unsee. It changes your perspective tremendously. You know, you can't unknow what you find out. But I feel as though, again, part of the advice here is, I feel like it's not thinking about it so much. It's just doing it, right? Just doing it. And I feel like this is, maybe some of you have been trying to find yourself. Like maybe you felt like you've lost yourself to some degree or another. And I feel like this is one, again, it's one of those things where it's like just thinking about it isn't going to solve it. Right? You have to reconnect. Right? You have to reconnect with that heart within you. Right? to take down those barriers. So what a fascinating reading for you for this month, Virgo. That is what I have for you. I pray that this has been helpful or valuable to you in some way, shape, or form as you navigate the month of November and beyond. If something here has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. I greatly, greatly appreciate all forms of interaction because it really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. So thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. Also, if something has resonated, pardon me, for you, you may want to explore your other signs as well, your big three, sun, moon, and rising tarotscopes, as they may hold deeper insights to your month. I hope you have an expansive, magical, eye-opening, thank you, eye-opening month. I pray that you have faith and courage to take the steps that you feel called to. I pray that you see the value in just being yourself and connecting with your true self at a soul level, connecting with your soul's true essence. I pray that you have the courage to dive deep and to ask for help when you need it, not only from those around you, but from your spirit team as well, and that you see the gifts that you hold within as you reconnect to who you truly are and unify with who you truly are, learning to love yourself, learning to see beauty in the world, and really, really emerging on the other side of it all, seeing a whole new world from a very different perspective. Take care of your growing, evolving, loving, courageous soul. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.